or another difference between the two games, is that this game does not obsolete systems as fast as WoW does. It builds upon them, and it keeps using them. Final Fantasy XIV director hates that people think his game has beat World of Warcraft. He don't appreciate y'all being mean to WoW, chat. Looking at you, making all these YouTube videos talking about WoW refugees and whatnot. Final Fantasy XIV director Yoshi P doesn't appreciate people dunking on World of Warcraft, saying that his game wouldn't exist without Blizzard's MMO, and that comparing the two is the wrong conversation to have. Blizzard definitely is definitely aware. Blizzard is definitely aware of this, but without World of Warcraft, a Realm Reborn wouldn't exist. I think we were talking about, we were reacting to another guy's video, and he was saying how, what if both games were released at the same time today? And I was like, that's impossible because Final Fantasy drew a lot of their stuff from World of Warcraft. Yoshida compared WoW to Everest, saying that such a high number is completely beyond reach. He did express the gratitude for Final Fantasy's own growth spurt that said we're growing at a rate that's even I'm surprised by. He says kind of scary. But this whole conversation about surpassing WoW is the wrong conversation to have and honestly irritating. He makes some great points. He does. Final Fantasy XIV would not be where it is without WoW because they basically took the WoW formula and they applied it to Final Fantasy. And in my mind, I think they did it better because I don't like WoW. I like Final Fantasy XIV. So for me, it worked. But I see where he's coming from. He's saying you really shouldn't dog the game that we basically use as a blueprint for our game. There's a lot of similarities between the two games. But there are some negative parts of WoW that were not included in Final Fantasy XIV. Let's name a couple if we can think of a couple. Let's see. Number one, every job on the same character. With WoW, you have to create alts. That's one change. Another change, or another difference between the two games, is that this game does not obsolete systems as fast as WoW does. It builds upon them, and it keeps using them, thereby making a new player experience going through really, really old content a completely different contrast from WoW. WoW has a different philosophy. They say, okay, new players, new expansion, you can just, boom, start with a new expansion. You don't have to worry about the old stuff. So in essence, with World of Warcraft, you don't ever have to see WoW Classic again. The first areas, you don't ever have to see those again. But people are actually paying to go see those things. So there you go. That's just two I can think of off the top of my head. There's a ton of differences between the philosophies, between the execution of the game, which is why a lot of Final Fantasy XIV players swear by it and will not play WoW. I know it's kind of hard for outside perspective to view this and go, man, if the games are so similar, then why in the world are people so adamant about playing Final Fantasy XIV over WoW when the creator itself saying that they used it as a guide? It's all about implementation and execution and consistency. The problem we're seeing today is that the Blizzard of old that Yoshi P loves so much no longer exists. The Blizzard of today is doing things very, very differently than the Blizzard of past. Which is why people are leaving. They're not leaving because they're tired of WoW or they don't like WoW. They're just saying what you're doing right now isn't what you used to do. And we don't like it. So we're going to go to the game that implemented the same things you guys used to do. Because I mean, I can't believe it's like so many features of Final Fantasy. You hear these WoW guys go, oh, it's like this. Oh, it's like Wrath of the Lich King. Oh, it's like Reputation. It's like all these features that WoW used to have that Final Fantasy is consistently doing today that people miss. Right? So I respect Yoshi P's saying that his quote saying that we really shouldn't be having this type of conversation that, you know, specifically what they were asking him. But at the same time, while the games have similarities, there are some stark differences in philosophy, execution, and implementation that make Final Fantasy XIV a completely different animal in a lot of people's minds. So it's easy to say that. Like a lot of people are like, oh, Final Fantasy just copied WoW, so I don't understand why you don't like WoW. Well, if you play both, you'll kind of see it pretty fast. So check the story out. It's on PC Gamer. I agree with Yoshi. I'm a humble guy myself, so I know this. I know the tact he's taking. It's like we wouldn't be where we are without WoW. But Yoshi P, let me tell you, as a fan of your stuff, you did it better, man. You did what Blizzard used to do. Blizzard used to take a game that was successful, put it in the Blizzard blender, make a Blizzard. Y'all Dairy Queen fans out there, make a Blizzard, and it tasted better. You just did that with Final Fantasy XIV. You took Final Fantasy XIV 1.0. You said, we've got some stale Oreos and we've got some cream and a little bit of, I don't know, some Nutty Buddy bits over there. And we've got some almond milk. What are we going to do? Please look forward to it. That's what happened. That's what happened, man. So they did it. I think Final Fantasy XIV and Yoshi P, they did what Blizzard used to do.